We've got a really great masterclass coming today. I am awfully excited. So today's live call, we're talking about consistency because it's such a struggle for so many of us. So this class today, this live call is for women who struggle with consistency, or it's for weight loss for women who struggle with consistency. I know it's been my arch nemesis. Consistency has just been the biggest thing in my whole life. And you always hear me say the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if you find that you're struggling to stay consistent with your weight loss, take a look around, honey, because I guarantee you it's not the only place that you struggle with consistency. I struggle to stay consistent with almost anything in my life. I can make great, big, fabulous plans, but I can clean up. I'm trying to think of an example. I can clean up the house and it will all be amazing, but then I struggle to keep it consistently clean. Or, I promise myself I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to do this amazing new program and I'll do it for 3 days and then I struggle to stay consistent with it. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. So don't think it's just a food issue because it never is. That's why when you clean up everything, when you clean up one thing, you actually end up cleaning up everything. That's what's so great about this program. And that's why I love it, because it is a more holistic approach to fucking everything. To everything. So when we're talking about weight loss for women who struggle with consistency, if you are not yet listening to my podcast on Apple or Spotify, whichever is your listening, platform of pleasure, this is an episode that you should listen to. I don't know the number, but it is called Weight Loss for Women Who Struggle with Consistency, and it's my most downloaded episode ever. And it's really good. And I'm not touching on any of those particular points today. We'll be talking about different ones today. But if you're not yet listening to it, if you just put my name in, it will come up. It's the Losing It podcast. That'll come up. And it is really good because the episodes are usually 10 to 15 minutes each week, no more than that, which is why I also try and keep these weekly calls around the 30-minute mark. We do sometimes go over, but I do try and keep it around 30 because we are all very busy and fabulous people. We don't have 60 minutes, 90 minutes, like whatever it is in our lives to just, I know I'm fabulous, but I don't really expect you to give me 60, 90 minutes of your time each week. So with that being said, let's dive on in. I want to talk a little bit today about, first of all, when we are inconsistent with this, we do feel like this is our fault, for lack of a better word. Like it's my fault, I'm inconsistent, and you do feel like a piece of shit, quite frankly. Like anyone that's here, and you want to, even if you want to chime in the comments, feel free to do so, because I know that we do feel like it's a personality fault. Like it's our own personal trait and it's faulty and there is something wrong with us. We feel like there's something wrong with us because we can't stay consistent with what we want to do. Now, consistency is a skill. It is not a personality trait. Now, there are people that are more naturally refined in this area, but every person that I've either met or found online who is an absolute gun in the arena of consistency, and I'll expand on the word consistency by saying honoring your word to yourself. If you want to say, so let me finish that sentence. Anybody that I've seen or come across or met, they are consistent because they value and honor their word to themselves. So if you're inconsistent right now with your weight loss, with sticking to the eating codes, with keeping the house clean, whatever it may be, you are not honoring your word to yourself. This is so much more than a matter of consistency. If you're going to actually, if you had a child and they said, well, what does that mean to be consistent, mum? And you might say, well, it means doing what you said you were going to do and doing it on a regular basis without lapsing, without major time gaps in between. You do it and you do it consistently. You do it and you do it whether you feel great about it or not. You do it and you do it whether it's pleasurable, whether it's enjoyable, whether you're tired, happy, sad, mad, or glad, you just fucking do it. And that is what it means to be consistent. You remove your emotions from the equation and you just get the job done. So the people that are doing that and they are honoring their word to themselves, they are the ones, of course, that have the incredible stories. So they show up on our feed and we're like, oh, wow, that's so inspirational. But is it? All they fucking did was do what they said they were going to do. They said they were going to get up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. every morning, and they did it. And we look at them like they just, cured cancer. Like they figured out how humans can fly. Wow, it's fucking fascinating. It's like, is it? Is it? All they did was honor their word. They just did what they said they were going to fucking do. And we look at them like they've just, hung the moon. No, no, no. You and I can do this too. This is not hard. It's not difficult. And it's not a secret magical spell that is only bestowed upon a few certain magical people. No, this is not something that only Oprah can do. This is not something that only Beyonce can do. This is all of us have this superpower. It is called doing what you fucking said you would do. That is what it's called. It's not hard. It's not crazy. And it's not, like I say, it's not something that you need to give up your life for. It's not something that you need to rearrange your calendar for. It is purely you creating the plan using the eating codes. You create your own personal blueprint. So now you look at it and you say, okay, if you're only still working your way through the actual, oh my God, now I'm losing my own mind. So we've just recently rebranded from F the Scale to the Bombshell Blueprint. So sometimes it still comes up in my head. I'm like, if you're working your way through the F the Scale course, if you're working your way now through the Bombshell Blueprint course, it comes in 3 sections. So you'll see it in there when you go in, there's like module sort of, I don't know, there's modules 1, 2, and 3. Module 1 is the eating codes. Module 2 is the actual blueprint where you take the eating codes and you start inserting them into the blueprint to create your own personal blueprint. And then the 3rd sort of module encapsulates mindset, because you need everything. You need the foundation, which is the eating codes. You need the plan, which is the blueprint, but none of it is any good unless you change what's going on in here. So that's the mindset. So this is what it's about. And if you're just working your way through that now, then this is the perfect time for you to start integrating consistency into your blueprint. So a lot of us and a lot of women do say, and just let me, if you've got any questions, feel free to, thank you so much. Look, I was going to say, feel free to throw them in the comment box now. I will come back to them afterwards. Gorgeous Connie's here saying, working through the first module at the moment. It's amazing. Yes, Queen. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So again, for those of you that are just working through it at the moment, you will find we're in the process of refilming. So since we rebranded, I'm also refilming because I've got heaps of new information and things that I want to share with you as well. So the old modules are still there. You will know if you've hit a new module yet because you'll see me with pink hair. If I don't have pink hair yet, then you're still in the older modules, which are equally fabulous, but the new ones are going to be even better, even better. So they're coming over the next few weeks. So my darlings, so many women will just say, I'm just not a consistent person, but it isn't actually true. Consistency is a learned skill, the same way you learn to drive a car, the same way you learn to walk, tap dance, whatever skills you've learned in your life, you weren't born knowing how to do those particular things. But with practice, they became automatic. If I told you now to get up and just go get that thing across the room for me, can you just go get me a piece of paper? You wouldn't have to think really hard about it. It's on autopilot. It's not a big deal. That's what we want consistency to become for us. We want it to end up like that, like autopilot, not a big deal, as in, it's not even like, well, I just remove the emotion from it and I get it done. You don't even need to think about it. That's what we want it to become like. So the problem isn't right now that you're inconsistent. The problem is that you've been practicing inconsistency. And I want you to let that sink in while I take a sip of my lemon and ginger. Honey, let that sink in. The problem isn't that you're inconsistent. The problem is that you've been practicing inconsistency. You have been reinforcing the patterns of stopping and restarting, stopping and restarting, and doubting yourself in the middle. Stop, doubt, start. And you've just been going through this ridiculous cycle for years. What do they say about insanity? Thinking that somehow, something's going to change. So what we want to do, and I've spoken about this maybe for the last couple of weeks, but definitely last week. So this is our new plan, okay? You're going to think about your mind as a shopping mall because it is. I don't know any female on the planet that doesn't love shopping. The catch-22 is we are shopping every single day in the mall of our own mind. We are shopping and we are picking out our own thoughts and we are taking them home. We are choosing which stores we will go into, and then we are taking home the goods. And then when you shop in the shit ass loser store all day, then you wonder why you feel so bad and why you're emotionally eating at night because you weren't shopping in the right stores throughout the day. So if you think about your mind as a shopping mall, and every day you get to decide what store you're going to visit. If you're always visiting the I don't stick to my word store, it's not important that I follow through on this. This is why you think it's not important because you think, possibly correctly, that your issues with food and weight don't really affect anybody but you. I mean, not really. Do you know what I mean? No children aren't going to starve. Like, it's not going to impact world hunger. It's not going to affect what Trump is doing if you follow your plan and not your mood. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really impact anyone else, but at the same time, it also does because the worse you feel about yourself, which is what happens when we don't stick to our word, then the worse we treat ourselves. And when we can't take treating ourselves shit anymore, we start treating other people badly. So if you always are visiting the I don't stick to my word store, or who cares, it's just one more day store, I'll just make an excuse store, then that becomes your default habit. Obviously, wherever you're spending the most mental energy is who you will be. How you're spending the most mental energy is who you are. It just has to be that way. There's no way around that. So the best way to really start managing this is instead of practicing inconsistency, which is what you're doing right now, you think you're doing nothing. There is no such thing as doing nothing. You think I'll just put this on hold until tomorrow or next Monday, but there is no such thing as doing nothing or putting something on hold. You are actually now reinforcing the habit of inconsistency. You are practicing inconsistency. You're practicing breaking your word to yourself. You're practicing making excuses. So every time you do that, you're reinforcing that. There is no, I'll start again tomorrow. What that actually is when you say that to yourself is you are reinforcing the habit of treating yourself as second best. You don't matter, making excuses. She'll be right. Like, I don't know, pretty sure that's an Aussie saying, she'll be right. Like all of that. That is what you're doing. You are reinforcing all of those habits in your life and then wondering why next Monday when you do start again, it seems to be even harder and even more challenging. And so you just put it off for another week. But instead of practicing inconsistency, let's start practicing consistency in tiny ways. It doesn't have to be huge. It's not all or nothing. It's not perfectionism. It's none of that. It's about you just starting to keep your word to yourself, even if it's in really small ways. Like, I'm going to make sure that I drink maybe you want lemon water or something every morning. I'm going to make sure that I do that every morning. So before I even start tackling all 5 eating codes, I'm going to pick one of them and then I'm going to integrate one other habit and I'm just going to be consistent with those. You might even take 30 days. There's no race here. I mean, if you're anything like me, I spent 30 years battling with myself, my weight, the whole thing. Could have wrapped it up in 30 days, I'm quite sure. But it took me 30 years because I spent 30 years practicing inconsistency. If you think, God, what were you doing for 30 years? Why did it take so long? Oh, I was working hard, but I was working at inconsistency. If I had worked at consistency, I could have wrapped the whole thing up in 30 days. No doubt. No doubt. If I had stuck to my word, done what I said I was going to do, and stuck to it whether I felt like it or not, which is eating code number 4, which is your feelings don't get to vote. So, 5 eating codes. Eating code number 1, eat when you're hungry, don't eat when you're not. Eating code number 2 is follow your plan and not your mood. So we make our plan each day and we stick with it. Eating code number 3 is stop eating at 80% full. Eating code number 4 is your feelings don't get to vote. And that you can apply in so many areas of your life. So yeah, you can apply it. Often we apply it at night with emotional eating. Listen, my feelings just don't get to vote at this point. I made my plan. This is how it's going to be. I'm not going to disrupt the entire, day and the mindset that I'm building just so that I can have some bad lame ass like chocolate bullshit or, lick the kids' leftover ice cream bowl. No thanks. My feelings don't get to vote. Oh, but it's wasteful. Is it? Is it? No, I've talked about this before. You can either throw leftovers in the bin or you can or you can eat them and your body will look like a fucking trash bin. So you choose. You either throw $2 of food in the bin, or you eat that and think that you've saved $2, but you're definitely spending more than $2 at Jenny Craig or WW trying to burn it off your ass now. It doesn't work. There is no such thing. And the other thing that really helped me with that a lot, I will just share this as a side note, is that because I'm just looking at the comments, sorry, and it threw me. Because I was brought up, my parents were like super, we weren't poor, but I feel like they kind of almost acted like we were because there was just so much scarcity mentality and like there's not enough. The theme, the underlying current that I took on anyway, it's not that they would have meant to do this, or maybe it wasn't even huge in their minds, but the underlying theme that I took on was there's not enough. There is not enough. There is never enough. There's never enough. Don't give to other people because there isn't even enough for you. Like, don't, there's just not enough. Get everything you can for yourself. And my parents weren't greedy people. Like, it's not like that at all. So it's really weird that I got this message, but scarcity was the message. Just real fear-based shit. My dad was in the insurance industry. He was like a manager there for his entire working career, really. And insurance was such a precarious industry. People constantly, he was dealing with people's disasters, house burnt down, lost everything. Like he was constantly dealing day in, day out with disasters, people's disasters. So, he would come home, he'd be like, don't leave that on. That could cause a fire. Don't touch that. It was just constant. And so very much in my life now, and I then watch my mum, like if she found even a hairbrush that she liked and thought was good, she would buy 3 more of them in case she could never get it again. Like there was just so much weird scarcity mindset. It was very strange, but I took that on. And so then it, of course, for me, defaulted to food. So it's like, there's not enough. There's not enough food. So I would always stock the cupboards and hide food around the house and insane amounts of food. And I wouldn't share my food with anybody. It was just a whole thing. So I don't even know where the fuck I'm going with all this now. But what I want to say is I spent 30 years really stuck in that cycle. I could have realized, if I'd only realized earlier, that I actually had the power to shop in a different store in my mind. I just didn't know that I could do that. I didn't know that was even an option. I just thought you think the way you think and you are who you are, and that's that. But nobody had explained to me, well, actually, Kylie, there's an entire market up here. You have got like the world's largest, most glamorous, exotic, fabulous, expensive shopping mall up here. And by expensive, here's the weird thing about the shopping mall in our mind. The best thoughts that you can think, like I'm empowered, I'm amazing, I can do anything. I always think I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like I am a badass babe. I can do anything I set my mind to. Chocolate, please. As if I care more about the taste of 1 second taste of chocolate than feeling feeling amazing in my body and empowered after all these years. I can have the chocolate. You know how we roll here inside of the blueprint. It's not that you can't have the chocolate. You can have, and you probably should if you like. I always say chocolate because that's my thing. I have chocolate every single day. I've always said I don't want to live in a world without chocolate. But not only and also will no longer eat chocolate to the detriment of my happiness. So I will have some chocolate every day to enhance my happiness and enhance my experience. And I have it at night with a cup of chamomile tea or something. And it's really great. I look forward to it every day and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful time and I love it and I enjoy it. And that's great. But if I sat there and ate a whole block of chocolate, that would not bring me happiness. That would bring me great sadness. I would think it was bringing me happiness at the time, but I would feel like shit. I was behaving like shit. I was just being a shit. And we don't do that anymore. So here's the thing with the shopping mall in your mind. And this is where people get it twisted. Normally, so look at in the outside world, if you want to go buy a Louis Vuitton bag or anything, it's very expensive. I was going to say fucking, but I'm trying not to swear as much. If you want to go buy a Chanel bag, an LV, a Fendi, they're really fucking expensive. They are. They're very expensive. High quality items in our real life world are expensive. I could buy a TV from Kogan is an Australian brand here. I don't know if he's gone global now, but Kogan is a brand that Phil bought a TV from. When we moved into this house, we had a TV already, an LG or something, and then Phil went and shopped on Kogan for a second TV for the kids' like TV room. Kogan is a cheap ass site. The TV was probably a couple of hundred, and it was bullshit. It never worked. It was constantly faulty. Everything, the remote fell apart in 2 seconds. It would turn itself off. Nothing worked. It was bullshit, right? So in real life, you get what you pay for, is what they say. You get an expensive item, it's going to be really good quality. In the shopping mall of your mind, the most expensive items in there are the worst shit you can walk out the store with. Here's what I mean by that. The best, so in the shopping mall of your, okay, let's go through it again. In our real life exterior world, if I want to go and buy an LV bag, I'm probably going to pay $8, $10, $12,000 for something small, not even big, right? Or I could go to the $2 shop. I could go to Target, Kmart, and I could get something there for probably $15. You know, it's not going to last as long. It's not going to look as pretty. It's going to scratch up real easy. It's not going to be good quality. The zipper will break. We get that. We get that. But in the shopping mall of your mind, if you shop in the, let's do the equivalent, like the Louis Vuitton of thoughts. Okay, up here in the shopping mall of your mind, the equivalent up here, the LV stores in your mind are the thoughts like, I'm badass. I can fucking do anything. Look at me. No one can get in my way. Nothing can stop me. I am so focused. I am so determined. I love myself that much. I am worth it. I deserve to treat myself well. I don't come last. I come first, because when I come first, then I put everybody else first too. And everybody else ends up feeling first because I have treated myself so well. That's the equivalent of the Louis Vuitton stores in your mind. And then the equivalent of the Kmart or Target or worse, $2 stores in your mind is, I'm a piece of shit. I'll never do this. This never works for me, blah, blah, blah. But here's the catch. In your mind, the best thoughts cost the least. So in the store, exterior stores out here in our world, Louis Vuitton, very expensive. In the store of your mind, the Louis Vuitton of thoughts are free. They cost you nothing to walk out with those thoughts. But the cheap ass stores that have the thoughts like, this will never work for me. I don't even know why I bother. I can't do this. I'm so stupid. You know, I always fail. I'll never get this. I only ever gain weight. I knew I would never fucking lose weight. Those stores cost you everything. Everything. They'll tell you that it's cheap and it will look like such a bargain. I'll just put it off till tomorrow. It doesn't matter anyway. Nobody cares. I'm never going to find true love. Blah, blah, blah. It looks like it costs you nothing. But you know what? The interest on those thoughts is so fucking high. It costs you everything. Everything. It ends up costing you your happiness, your health, your prosperity, sometimes your love life, your sex life. It costs you, you tell me, what has the thoughts, the bullshit thoughts that you've lived your life just ruminating on over and over and over? This will never work for me. I don't know why I bother. I'm ugly anyway. Of course he went and had an affair. Look at me. Like all of these thoughts, they cost you everything. They are so expensive, it will crush your soul. You will wipe out your entire mental and emotional bank account if you continue shopping in those bullshit stores.